Good morning and welcome to Business Today. My name is Omoshiliola Adesoya Jaye. This is Business Today, your go-to source for the latest trend and developments in the world of business and economy. So, welcome to today's edition, as we'll be looking into a pressing issue that has been on the minds of many Nigerians: the persistent high cost of rice despite local production. Rice is a staple food in Nigeria, yet its affordability remains a challenge for millions of households. And in recent years, the government has implemented various policies to encourage rice production, with numerous local initiatives to boost rice production. However, the high prices remain a significant concern, and the question on everyone's mind is, why is rice still so high? What are the underlying factors and what can be done to bring price down? And to discuss this with me this morning, I have in the studio Prince George Oladapo. He is an agricultural economist and an expert in food security. You're welcome on the program.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Okay, like I said, rice is a staple food in Nigeria, but its high cost has become a burden for many households. What is causing this disparity?
Let me take you back a bit to the Western region, pre-independence and post-independence. Agriculture for some time, concentrating more on crude oil production and export and whatever. If you take a critical look at what we used to have before independence and maybe post-independence, especially here in the Western region, emphasis was laid. It was an agricultural-based economy, and that we recorded huge successes in all other areas of endeavors, especially agriculture. And the cocoa house was there, cocoa board was there, rubber, everything was cleverly done with proceeds from agriculture, basically. Over time, during the First or Second Republic, we tried to establish river basins around the geopolitical zones to encourage agriculture in those zones, in a bid to bring down the cost of food production to the masses. Now, in recent times, let's come to the, like in the Buhari administration, the last administration came and said, okay, let's have anchor borrowers program. Some of our farmers were able to access those funds. Some of them were political farmers who the funds never got to the farmers, and so there was a kind of issues in the procedure that preceded that anchor borrowers program. Over time, the present government has initiated a lot of programs to bring down the price of rice, especially. They came up with a solution that the people should go and export duty-free and not to bring in rice for the period of 180 days so that there could be a surplus in the market. However, as farmers, we are not too comfortable with that because the cost of production now has risen. For every rice farmer, especially, and other farmers that I know with other commodities, the cost of production has risen almost by thrice of 4 times what we used to have. So if you look at the cost of production, the labor, everything all inclusive, it is not comfortable for us to sell at a lower price. One, the price of electricity has gone high, the price of diesel has gone high, water, name it, herbicides. All we need to get that rice into a processed rice has risen astronomically. So when you look at the prices of those things, it is not easy for us to say, okay, come and buy. The only solution, maybe you have not answered that.
Yes, I'm still going to ask you about the way out, but
okay.
Like what you said, infrastructure and transportation have been or recurring issues. You know, how do this, you know, specifically affect the cost of rice?
Yes. If you want to see the processing of rice, from the primary production to processing and then to the marketing, is a whole lot of a process. So every process demands that funds are allocated. There's something we call the EOP, that is the economics of production. For instance, in 2015, 2016, 2017, what you were buying for 7,000 naira has gone to 28,000 naira for that same product. So how does that, invariably it will affect your cost of production. Transportation has risen high, like I said earlier. So all these things put together will lead to, okay, what is the profit margin for the farmer or the processor to break even in its market? So these are factors that have to be taken into serious consideration before we can go ahead with maybe the price is high or what. But there are solutions to it.
Okay, before we still talk about the solution, you know, apart from transportation and infrastructure, are there any other challenges being faced by local production, local producers? I'm talking about rice farmers now. And how does the challenge contribute to these high costs?
Yes, aside from maybe the economics of production, these are primary things that you must do. Security is another major challenge for the farmer to go to his farm, work on his farm, and come back home safely. Security challenges are always staring us in the face. But I must give kudos to the state government here, especially during the administration of our late governor, who initiated the Amotekun Corps. That has been very great achievement in the area of security. More farmers are now going to the farm with less fear. People are going about, I mean, it's not that these things don't occur, but the ratio of occurrence is not as high as what we used to have in the past. So this has even led more people to venture into agriculture and agro-business here in the States. So majorly, security is one. Number two, the issue of maybe subsidies from government will encourage us the more. But I will talk about that maybe when we go to solutions to the program.
Okay, human attitude. Let's talk about human attitude now.
Right.
Don't you think human attitude is another factor contributing to this high cost? Take for instance, when you get to the market, I'm a farmer. I brought this to the market at this so price. Fine, with little interest, I can sell. I can make even. And some people will get it and triple the price. Don't you think a human factor is also contributing to high cost, and how can that be checked?
Yes, I agree with you that human factor contributes majorly, especially here in this part of the country. We can checkmate it by introducing the price control board, having associations and giving them a regulated price. It's going to be like this. More people should join these groups and associations so that there will be a leverage, a price that will be comfortable for consumers at no, price is high. I bought this 5,000 yesterday. Tomorrow I'm buying it for 10,000. 2 days time is another 15,000. So there will be a price control board initiated by the state government, co-opted by all the associations and commodity groups, so that they will understand, and the price stability will be there in the market, so that the human factor engagement will be largely reduced.
Okay, before now, Nigeria is not known as a rice producing country. Nigeria obviously is not one of the rice producing countries, but as a result of government policies, one way or the other, we become a rice producing country. But now that we are producing locally, the price is still going up every day. Fine, you've mentioned some of the challenges contributing to all this. Do you think these are enough reason to, if you get to the market today, the price of rice, in fact, it can, like I said in my introduction, it's not ordinary household can afford anymore. Apart from all those you've mentioned earlier, are there any other factor contributing to this high cost?
Yes. The first and the most germane, human attitude one. What is the percentage of our youths that are actively engaged in agriculture? The first question. If you look at what we produce today in the country, the North has superseded the South in the area of rice production. Why? Because there is this genuine interest. There is a deliberate policy by the government of those states to actively engage their youths in. Go to states like Kano, Zamfara, parts of Borno. Even with the security challenge, heavy security challenges in Borno State, they are still receiving a high quality quantum of rice. So the first thing is to get our youth. Our people here believe that I must graduate, get a white collar job after my service here, and all that, stay in an air-conditioned office. But a deliberate policy by government must be in place to actively engage these our youth, redirect, reposition them towards agriculture and agro-business. Then, when the is high, the cost of those commodities in the market will definitely crash. So, I want to tell you that there is a program in place anytime from now by the federal government to make sure that rice is brought to about 35,000 naira per bag. And this is the benefit of saying, look, if you subsidize most of these things by 50-60%, if a ton of paddy rice, that is raw rice from the farm, is sold at 600,000, we can sell to the federal government at 300,000 if it is subsidized. And when you look at your cost of production, if you have a ton of paddy for 300,000, definitely you can sell comfortably at the rate of 30,000 naira per bag. So government's policy must be there, and a deliberate action from the government, co-opted by the state government, in collaboration to bring this price of things down. So that is it.
Okay, if you're just joining us, the program is Business Today, and we are discussing high cost of rice despite local production in Nigeria. And my guest has been a rice farmer, an agricultural economist, and also an expert on food security, Prince George Oladapo. We take a short break now. When we come back, the program continues. Please don't go away. Joining us, like I said on that break, we are taking a look at high cost of rice production, high cost of rice in Nigeria despite local production. And my guest has been an agricultural economist and an expert on food security, a rice farmer. And Prince George Oladapo. Okay, let's talk about, you mentioned so many policies, fine, implement policies like import restriction, on rice. And has this had result on price?
Yes, it's a gradual process, and that's a result of restriction importation of rice. I was particularly happy because if we continue to be an import-based economy, we are heading nowhere to do. The moment we are able to what we eat, cure ourselves, then that's what say we have, but it's a gradual process, like our people. It's, by the time we first get our desired rebates, all these things, it's so easy. We have the land. It's good. Sometimes I wonder why we are poor. Because what God has given us, especially here in Ondo State, is a quantum of blessings to us. We can feed, I can authoritatively tell you that Ondo State can produce all the rice that we need in Nigeria and even far beyond. We have the land, we have the weather, we have everything in place to that food security is here for us all.
Okay, what are the solutions what solutions can address all these challenges and make rice more affordable for Nigerians?
Simple matter. Simple matter. Increase production. Encourage our youth to go to farm. Make use of what we have. Let me give you an example of what is happening in the Niger State. The Niger State governor is clearing about 1 million hectares. You could observe that banditry has tremendously dropped in Niger State today. Where are the bandits going to hide? Nowhere. 1 million hectares. He has brought a tractor assembling plant right there. There are greenhouses. A whole lot of them now, a whole lot of unemployed youths have been drafted into agriculture and agro-business. Criminal activities are dropping all over the place now. Banditry has dropped, kidnappings have dropped, you understand? So it brings a whole lot of chain reaction on government, which is positive. So these are the steps to be taken. If we encourage first our youths, I'm so particular about that, to engage them, especially maybe the youth corpers, beard holders and whatever. Let's draft them, train them, show them, acquire land for them. Government can come in, give us, and then the food production will be so high, even with other commodities aside from rice. So the land is fertile. We have everything in place to make sure that we can feed ourselves comfortably and even export.
Okay, it seems some of all these policies put in place before now by government has not really yielded the desired results. So, do you think, apart from engaging youth, do you think government needs to set aside law or put in place a particular policy that will help the production of rice in the country?
Yes, I said that before. That a deliberate policy, that is something that has to be done as an emergency.
What I'm saying now is that, I know you've mentioned it before, but I wanted to, do you think there should be a law that will back all these government policies?
Yes, so maybe we could actively engage the State House of Assembly, and maybe by extension the National Assembly, to put in place a law to back up most of these policies, even with light. If you don't do this, maybe consequences. This is consequences for doing this. We're in a very lighter mood, but encouragement must come first from the government. Okay, you are ready to farm. Let me allocate 10 hectares to you as a farmer, as a graduate. You could train you, put you into the line of agro business, and then there are so many chains of businesses. You could be in the primary production, you could be in the processing, you could be in the marketing. Their value chains are there for you to maximize. So these are processes that can be done comfortably without any stress. It's an easy something to do, but a deliberate policy, a deliberate law promulgated to safeguard these policies, and then the implementation. Okay,
you've rightly mentioned some of likely solutions. But now let's talk about future projection. If all these solutions you mentioned are put in place, where do you see Nigeria in the next 5 years? And if it is 2 in 1, and if they are not put in place, where do you see Nigeria in the next we are in the nearest future
Yes.
in terms of rice production?
Yes, in rice production, the coast is clear. I'm a very positive-minded person when it comes to issues like this. I believe in Nigeria. I believe in Ondo State where I come from. And I believe that in the next 5 years, even if these things are put in place with what the present administration is doing, other countries may come here to learn from what we have. We may export rice. That is the projection I have in the next 5 years. I don't see it in the other way around because I don't know what is going to stop it. If we continue to import rice, we are not ready to be ourselves. And what is the quality of this rice being brought into the country? Our people don't know. A whole lot of them are rice that have been 15, 20 years ago, outdated, not good for our health. But if you want to say, okay, let's produce what we eat, fresh farm rice gives you more nutrients, safeguards your liver and your system than what you don't even know, consuming what you don't know. So if you take into consideration the rise in the cases of liver and kidney diseases, springing from what our intake is, because rice has become the staple food. Almost every day, every home, 2-3 times in a day, sometimes, in its various forms, of course, across the whole country. So if you look at the rise in those cases, health-wise, it's better for us to grow our own food, know what we are eating, and then safeguard our lives and future.
Thank you very much. What will now be your parting shots on the program, your advice for people out there, those who are intending to, how do you encourage them?
I want to appeal. I want to really appeal to our people to come on board. Come and join the train for us to feed ourselves. We cannot continue to excuses. Banditry, headers will not allow us to go to farm. The ones we are eating, some people did them. Some people went to the farm to produce them. Come on board, be brave, be bold. Let us come together, in tranches like that. And then let us face it. We're going to present something tangible, formidable to the state government and say, look, we have 1 million rice farmers in Ondo State. We have 500,000 rice farmers. This is what we want. So collectively, we'll be able to make things work. Okay,
is it capital intensive for someone to go into rice production?
Not as such. It depends on what you want. You can start even with an hectare of rice production, and it is profitable. It's quite profitable. And the ratio, you say, is about 60-40. So if you can access funds, if they come together, we can access funds collectively, establish these farms in clusters, and then the proceeds from these farms can be allowed by the state government. So they have the off-takers already. Rice is not something that you keep that nobody wants. People want it. Let me give you a funny story. 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago, people came from Kano, from Kebbi, to buy paddy rice here and take back to Kano to produce. After processing this rice, they now bring it back here. Why? I overheard Lagos State government is trying to partner with Kebbi or Niger or thereabout. That, for me, is not economically a wise decision. But then if we have Lagos to Ondo State is nearer than Niger or Kebbi. So let them partner. We are open to partnership. We are open to partnership everywhere. But what is sustainable is that we must be able to feed ourselves. Rice being the staple food must take its rightful place.
Thank you, Prince Oladapo, for sharing your thoughts with us on this program today. It is clear that while local rice production is on the rise, addressing the systemic issues in the supply chain and infrastructure is key to bringing prices down. As Nigerians continue to feel the pinch of rising food costs, it's crucial that all stakeholders from the government to private sector players work together to ensure that rice as staple food becomes more affordable for all. Thank you for tuning in today on the program, Today's Business. We'll be back next week with more analysis and discussion on the key issues sparring our economy. My name is Osrc Adesoye Ajayi. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.